Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo, and you're tuned in to another live edition, or at least live recorded edition, of the LockerGnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short, your daily dose of geek news, reviews, and answers that you can use like an answer to the question, Chris, why are you streaming later today, yet earlier than the regularly scheduled time after you rescheduled it? Well, first of all, yes, I'm streaming this live. If you become one of the Supernomies, starting at just $2 a month, you can tune into all the live streams we do, all 4 of them. That includes the Hangout, which we do every weekday. But my brother is in town very briefly, and so I had to pick him up from the airport. His flight was delayed, and so I had to delay the broadcast of the live streams. Hopefully, no one minds at all. Also, I wanted to let you know that I am fully caught up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And very happy about that, but also disappointed. I hate when you get caught up to a TV show only to find out that now you have to wait for the new episodes to be broadcast. Ugh, drives me mad. Well, we did do a nice roundup of awesome Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. things that you can bring into your life. Posted them on LockerGnome.com. Also, in the classic YouTube channel, is the show and tell video for today. Ale versus Stout. I tried a... sorry about that. I tried it a while ago, and I guess the burp was still in me. An ale that was supposed to be stout-ish, and it was not. There's a little spoiler alert. But if you watch that video, you catch a little outtake that I put right in the middle of the video that was kind of funny. I thought it was funny. That's the payoff right there. And I'm surprised how many people are really liking the new show and tell video series in the classic channel. As much as the new CPU series that we've done. So we're doing new live videos in the Geek Lifestyles every day. We're doing new videos in the classic Chris Pirillo channel every day. And of course, the vlogs as well. If you want a drone, don't wait. We've got a 60% off offer, pre-order exclusive for the Snowflake drone. We've also got the Wii U plus Smooper Smash Brothers. Just Super Smash Brothers giveaway. That is free on deals.lockergnome.com. And the Blue Pine Studio 3D Illusion Lighting Sculpture, again, 33% off on deals.lockergnome.com. Deals.lockergnome.com. Bam! Do it. Go there. Check out the free stuff. Check out the discounted stuff. We're doing it for you, baby! Even if you're not a baby. Now, maybe you have a question. Hey, Chris, are you still posting Lego deals every day? I did. In fact, yesterday I posted 2 Lego deals, 20% off the Ezra speeder bike and the T16 Skyhopper, which I finally got. 20% off. That's to me, that's a big deal. Like when any Lego set goes on sale that I want, I get it. So I tell you about all the Lego deals that I get right away as soon as I get them. Of course, I got to get them first. I can't just pass along a discount to you if I don't get the discount. I want the discount too. I'm all about the discounts. All about saving money on the things that I love. But of course, I'm willing to spend money on the things that I love too. Keep that in mind. mTorrent. Now, I talked about this the other day, very briefly, I think, in Friday's AMA TLDR. mTorrent. Probably one of my favorite BitTorrent clients, or at least was at one point in time, long before I think they were acquired by BitTorrent. And I'm talking about the company, not necessarily the protocol. So I liked it because it was clean, it was easy to use. There was no easier way of getting anything, using BitTorrent. Now, I'm not talking about getting things that I shouldn't be getting. I'm talking about getting things that can only really easily be gained by way of BitTorrent if I was trying a new Linux distro, let's say. Downloading content that I may have picked up from Humble Bundle. At least I think they at least used to distribute by torrent, at least to my knowledge, or something like Humble Bundle. So I have nothing against the protocol. I have nothing against mTorrent in general. But here's the thing. A lot of mTorrent users, and it looks like you, but it's not a U. It's mu. It's a Greek letter. Mu. It's like U with a long stem. mTorrent. Apparently, in a recent update on Windows, if you don't read the installer carefully, mTorrent, in the install process on Windows, will install something that will allow software to basically mine Litecoin on your PC. So, number one, read. Number two, what caught me as ironic was a lot of people who were complaining about this are people who use mTorrent to pirate stuff. So they're all about stealing stuff, right? This is it cracked me up, right? So imagine someone there, I'm getting all the latest movies and the music and stuff. I'm not paying for it because I'm using mTorrent. It's awesome and it's free. Yeah. Hey, wait a minute. What do you mean? You're making Litecoin on my system. Where's my cut? I can taste the irony there. Can you? It is palpable. Not to be confused with Palpatine. Palpable. So, be forewarned, if you install mTorrent, A, you shouldn't be pirating things that you don't really have the rights to own, to have, to even license. And B, just read the directions. That's all you got to do. But your system may very well be mining Litecoin for somebody else. And if you're using software to pirate other stuff, I really don't feel anything for you at all, and you have no legs to stand on in terms of an argument. It's your fault. I can't blame the company for doing it. Hey, they made it clear. Hey, it's in the install process. You click through, not us. Hey, you're the one that's possibly using the software for nefarious purposes. Don't look at me. It's like anybody who gets infected by a virus because they download a movie. Like, why didn't you just buy the movie at that point? Nah, because it's cheaper to, you get viruses. Oh, people. One day you will learn. Until then, I will laugh at you. MetaFilter has been around for the longest time, and I've known of MetaFilter. I was never really a MetaFilter user. Loved it because it had a vibrant community started by a guy who's certainly been around on the web for quite a while. And Matt, I believe I sold a 21-inch monitor to Matt Haughey. Is that how you say his last name? God, I've never said it out loud. Matt of MetaFilter. He's stepping away from his very pioneering online community after 16 years. He's basically joining Slack, not Stack. I can't see very well. After 16 years, he was independent and now is going to work for somebody else. I'm saying this because I find myself not in the same boat. I don't plan on working for anybody else. That's not in the plan. But when you do something for so long online and the industry changes around you, you have to change. And if you can't adapt to it, you're going to die. Or you're going to have to find another way of getting things done. So it's depressing. It's disappointing. But it makes sense to me. This is on the heels of other news, which I did bring up yesterday with GigaOM basically shutting down because it couldn't pay its creditors. GigaOM, really a pillar in terms of Silicon Valley journalism. Silicon Valley, I think, would be a different place. GigaOM was funded, and I guess it couldn't pay off its creditors, so it had to lay off all the writers. A couple good writers. One guy who writes for him, I'm not going to name names, or wrote for them. I guess he no longer has a job, but he's a good writer. He really is. He's skilled. I would consider him more of a journalist than a blogger, but he decided that he didn't like me because I took sponsors and did sponsored ads on Twitter or Facebook or wherever. So he decided he didn't like that. Like I said, you got to figure out how to make things work. A lot of content producers who've been at it for a while, 16 years plus, I'm certainly in that category. It's difficult to do things the way that we used to. I'm not the only one. You'd think that, oh, Chris, other people are doing it. No, you don't understand. Everybody doesn't talk about all the issues that they run into. What we try to do is figure out how to fix those problems. So what I figured out how to do to fix the problems that I had so that I don't necessarily have to go to work for a company that I don't know all that well is, engage the deeper community, really. Finding patrons, finding my super nomies. You're all my nomies. But super nomies, even at $2 a month, with all the bonuses that we throw at you, with as much as I might do on a regular basis, every super nomie makes a big difference. Every $2 a month makes a big difference. I just can't explain that enough. You help me do the things for you. It's a very circle of life kind of thing, and I want to do more. I'm not even done. I want to do more. Including the events for geeks and nerds. Really want to do those. Gnome Dex is coming back. We'll have more details on that very, very, very soon. I just made a deal that should keep the Empire in here forever. Do you like how I bastardized that quote? Oh, speaking of, huge shout out. My Nomi, I can't call it Nomi of the day because it's Nomies. You're all my Nomies. Nomi, I don't own the domain for. Nomies.com I own. Nomi.com I don't. But let's just say my favorite person of the day. Can I say that? Killian, and his handle on Twitter here. Let's see here. I don't know where he lives though. I gotta find out where he lives. Wait, where the hell? The Killian00 tweeted me because I love when y'all tweet me. Love it, and especially when you use the Vader spotting hashtag. The Killian00 tweeted this to me earlier today. See, has Darth Vader. There's Killian. The Killian 00. Don't know where he lives. Darth Vader cereal. New Disney Kellogg's Darth Vader freaking cereal. And I asked him and he hasn't responded yet. I'm like, where? There's a new Darth Vader cereal. It's chocolate. I need the Darth Vader cereal. And I can see R2-D2 down there too. So that would be a perfect, awesome show and tell. Cannot wait to have a Darth Vader cereal in my life. If you see it, you let me know because I need it. Need. Cannot live without it. Let me go ahead and sip some of my green juice. Nice and green in a green bottle. Actually, it's clear. The bottle's green, clearly. The liquid inside is carbonated and clear. That I know of. Remember Pepsi, Crystal Pepsi? We talked about that a few weeks ago, didn't we? Man, I miss Crystal Pepsi. That was some good stuff. Hey, when's the next hangout we're doing? Liz? Canadian Liz, a.k.a. Pez Liz? We're doing it. Can we do a geek out this weekend, baby? Oh, no. This weekend, I'm actually presenting at a video conference in Seattle. Can't do it this weekend. I need to do we need to do like hangouts every week. I need geek outs in my life. I want to do a Star Wars geek out. I want it. I got to find the right partners, though. I love watching shows where there's more than one person in the room. I wish I could do that with Jerry every day. Unfortunately, the economics of the situation do not calculate. We live a little far away, and we've got our own things going on. I mean, that's good. We're not. People keep asking, "Are you okay?" We're fine. I've lost no love for Jerry. In fact, I'm about to connect him with a group of people that I think he really wants to be connected to. Can't say anything. Spoilers. Until I have that relationship in hand, I can't talk about it. I need to take a sip. Otherwise, I will continue to thirst. Oh, I love carbonated water. Love it. Oh, love it. Oh, I stopped drinking soda daily years and years and years ago. Couldn't give up the carbonation, though. Needed the carbonation. Amazon is set to bring 4 of its game studios titles to iOS. Release dates not yet announced. So, makes sense. You know, Amazon, they've coded it. Might as well port it to one of the world's most popular platforms. I mean, I'm not talking about Android. I'm talking to iOS. People who love spending money. Come on, you know. Love spending money. I got a redeem code at Starbucks this week for a pretty decent game. Y'all might like it, but it's more of my kind of game than it may be yours. But it's called, where the hell did I put it? I have too many folders. Where the hell is it? Gray Cubes. It's like a breakout game that's like a 3D breakout game that the bricks, as you hit them, they start moving around the playing field. That's fun. Got that for free. Dwelp is another one that I think I got for free. I don't remember paying for it. I either used a redeem code that I earned by way of go.tagjag.com/free points, or it may have been one of those Starbucks redeem cards. I love this game. I'm on level 61 of Dwelp. Level 61. I only had to search for, I guess, a cheat. Not a cheat, but like a level tutorial for one level. Like level 51 or something. I was just stymied. I couldn't get past it. Love these kinds of casual games here. See, they're like dots on the screen. You move them around by color. And love that kind of game. This is my kind of game. Someone, one of our new patrons asked when I'm going to do a What's on my iPhone 6. I guess I hadn't done it. I thought I did. I don't know. They're kind of routine to me. I may end up doing that as like a live video of sorts if I can figure out how to produce it in such a way that it's kind of clean for the stream and then broadcast it specifically to you, my patrons. Haven't had a chance to do it as of late because I've been busy with other things. But if enough of the Supernomies want it, I will certainly do it. And then, of course, on the for What's on my iPad as well. I guess to me, I've done it once, and I just don't update all that often. That just doing another one a year later doesn't seem to be as interesting to me. But maybe it's interesting to you. Maybe you do really want to know what kinds of apps. I couldn't show you everything that I necessarily had installed, but I could show you a lot of them. And those are usually very long videos when I do what's on my iOS device. Apple is set to overhaul its iPad for Education program, removing the Apple ID requirement for apps and books for large departments beginning this fall. That's a big deal, especially as Chromebooks are taking hold of school, and that doesn't surprise me at all because Chromebooks are certainly a lot more affordable than the alternative. And I think Apple would be in a bad situation if it lost its education aspect of its business, because students, they use technology. Some of them BYOT, bring your own tech. Other times you have the technology assigned by the school or the school district, and education's a big deal, huge deal. Huge, major bucks. So for Apple to make those moves, it's likely to appease school districts the country over, potentially other countries beyond the USA. The seeing something like this is good. If anything, it increases competition. That's good for Apple, I'd imagine, but certainly good for schools if it increases competition. Verizon will open pre-orders for the Galaxy S6 and SX. Galaxy S6 and Galaxy S6 Edge. Okay, let's see if I can do that like 5 times fast. Galaxy S6, Galaxy S6, Galaxy S6, Galaxy S6. Okay, I can do that. I thought it was harder. At least I didn't. Never mind. So, pre-orders, April 1st, Galaxy S6 and 6S Edge. Edge. There's other Verizon news as well. And I thought I wrote this down, but I guess I didn't. They're going to be releasing the Nexus 6 on Verizon with HD voice here in the coming months. I thought I had that down in my notes here, but apparently I do not. I apologize for that. If you did miss the news, you did miss the news the other day when we talked about it, when it happened. iOS 8.2 is now available for your iOS devices. That's cool. I updated. There's really nothing new that you would notice necessarily, so security fixes are probably the most notable updates. I expect to see a few more visible changes with iOS 8.3, which is slated for release in the coming months. This was largely a bug fix update, but also in tow update that adds the unremovable Apple Watch app. Even if you don't have an Apple Watch, Apple has an ad for the Apple Watch on there. And again, I don't use so many of the Apple default apps. I just throw them in a folder and I forget them. Who cares? I can't remove them. They don't take up that much space. They don't annoy me that much. But I'm a folder user. I use a lot of folders. Okay, one sip, and then I'm going to do a live unboxing right here in front of your very eyes or ears. If you're listening to the podcast on SoundCloud or iTunes, you can subscribe to our podcast. Did you know that? It's the link's in this video's description. Why am I so thirsty? I had a lot of baba ganoush for lunch. Forgot the Doma, but I had plenty of baba ganoush. All right. Love baba ganoush. Oh, one of my favorites. This is a big box. This is going to be the subject of, I'm thinking possibly a CPU. I thought about doing it as a show and tell, but it may work just as easily as a CPU roundup. It'll be a part of a show and tell of a certain kind, but I'm thinking of doing something in relation to, I'll explain it in a second as soon as you see what's in the box. Wait, is it me or the box is getting harder and harder to open? Maybe it's just that I'm getting older. Gotta be very careful, because there is a collector's item in here. It belongs in a museum! So do you, Dr. Jones. So do you. It's not an Indiana Jones thing. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Yeah, baby, yeah. It's a good condition. It is the Gentle Giant Jumbo AT-AT driver right there. I guess it was exclusive to the San Diego Comic-Con last year. But look at that. Is it a 12-inch? It's a 12-inch figure. They have all these jumbo figures, at least at the time that this was done. And the only other jumbo figure I have is up there. You've seen it if you saw my workshop tour. The Darth Vader up there. I don't plan on collecting any more of these 12-inch figures, though. I got this one, if only for completeness' sake. Here, let me show you here as I... Boy, it's a little dusty, but that's okay. It's probably sitting on the shelf or something. Okay, clean that off. This is reminiscent of something that excites me very, very, very much. The very first Star Wars figure that I purchased own, and yes, still have. So this is, you've seen him like a billion times before if you've paid attention to anything that I do. So let's see here. See, the light is really blowing him out there. Standing the original Star Wars action figure up against this AT-AT driver, difference is kind of night and day, right? But basically the sculpt is the same as the original Kenner figure. They even have the original Kenner logo down there, but the sculpt is the same. Paint application is virtually the same. This is right here my very first Star Wars figure ever. Still have them, obviously. I talk about them all the time. But I wanted this one because I'm going to be doing like my AT-AT driver collection videos, like a CPU. So I'm going to be featuring that in this week's Star Wars Stuff haul for show and tell, but also likely my AT-AT driver toy collection CPU. I also have an AFA graded AT-AT driver figure still in package. AFA graded at an 80, not bad. The back would have been very, very reminiscent to when I found this one on the shelf. Obviously, still in the box. Unpunched too. I don't know if you noticed that. That helps the AFA grading. Pretty good condition, obviously in a case that'll keep it protected pretty much forever. I will never be opened. Don't need to open it, but this is effectively that at a larger scale. Impressive, isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah, it's my wife. Whoa indeed. What do you think, Jedi?
Where is that gonna go?
I haven't figured it out yet. It may go up there. I'll have space for it because my AT-AT driver collection I think is going to be floating in that direction.
One.
Well, I have a smaller one. This is the smaller one, and then this one's out of the package.
Oh.
Yeah. So there you go.
You have ratings on them? Like coin ratings?
Well, yeah, they're collector's items. So you can get a toy action figure series, anything you collect. AFA is specifically like an action figure kind of grade scale. So they grade on quality, like the wear and tear. They wear the color and everything. So everything comes grading at like, I think the highest you get is 100. But you can have like this action figure, if I got it graded, might get like a 60, but it's not worth anything. So I wouldn't even bother getting it graded. But AFA graded, if you're planning on collecting or selling, usually helps a lot. Well, don't worry, we're not going to get you AFA graded. You're 100, okay? Okay, my little, what are you? You going with a nautical theme today? She's wearing anchors on her shirt.
Yeah, she is. The dress.
Oh, a dress, sorry.
So how much does it cost to get it rated? Because like when you send coins and currency out, you have to pay a certain cost.
You'll have to pay a cost. I've never had one graded. I ended up getting this on auction, so it was paid for ahead of time, which factors into the cost at which they and I'd rather someone else deal with it because I have one. There are two figures that I would want to get AFA graded. One's a recard yak face, and the other one's a blue snaggletooth, which is out of case. I'd want to send them in, but I don't want to send them in to someone that I don't know who I'm sending them into. Because those are very rare figures indeed. Those are downstairs, though. The tall blue snaggletooth and the yak face recard. I'd be curious. But I don't want to ruin the yak face recard because it's a recard. That's part of the value. Basically, a recard is when someone takes the original figure, theoretically takes the original figure, original accessories, potentially even remolds the accessories, but it's usually the original figure on a card that looks like it would have been way back in the day, but is actually like a reprint, and then they also do the same thing on the back. You got to be careful when you're doing auctions or participating in action figure stuff or anything, toys or anything online, because some of it may very well be a replica or a recard, and you might be overspending for something that wouldn't necessarily retain its value. Oh, speaking of Star Wars, Journey to Star Wars, The Force Awakens, Del Rey, in conjunction with Disney, they've announced a series of 20 different books over, the next few months until The Force Awakens is released. Not just novels, but also comics and, kids' books and graphic novels, etc. Basically, stories leading up to The Force Awakens. So we're going to get kind of like not a prequel of sorts, but canon that's leading us into The Force Awakens. So I expect the marketing machine for Star Wars to just accelerate. So I'm excited about that. I'm not much of a Star Wars novel reader. I am getting into the comics, of course, now after the reboots, having read Darth Vader, and collecting it, Star Wars, and then Princess Leia. I started into that last night. I may also be picking up any other new Star Wars comic that they release because, hey, you only live once. You might as well have fun while you're living. You hear me? You know what I'm saying? Edison. Now, this is an interesting bit of news. I'm surprised Earl Green didn't send this to me, but this is a total Earl Green kind of link to pass along. Edison apparently had a lost idea, a device to hear the dead. He believed you could hear the dead. Edison. Well, he thought he was crazy before, man. He thought you could hear the dead. He wanted to have a device. Now imagine if we had that. Imagine if we had up until this point, it was just a Weird Al Yankovic lyric, right? Do you remember that song? One of my favorite songs. One of my favorites. I hope you remember that song. I remember it. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. I know what it is. In fact, I challenge you to leave a comment for this video or podcast telling me what that song is. Now, if you know it by heart, you're a big geek. Or a small geek, you're just a nerd. And that's a good thing coming from me. Google Calendar, as I said yesterday, is now on iOS. It is free. Someone asked me, hey, can you do a review? And I kind of joked back. I said, my review for an app is download it. Try it yourself. Even at a couple bucks. It's cheap. Try it. If you don't like it, you're just out a couple bucks. What's the big deal? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying spend money on apps willy-nilly. But it's also one of the reasons why I convert pretty much all of my my points that I earn on go.tagjag.com/free points to Amazon gift cards. Well, I use go.tagjag.com/free apps as well, but I'll exchange the points to get apps that are normally they cost money, but you redeem through the app and they don't cost you anything. So no risks at all. Just use Feature Points is the name of the service. I send you through my referral link because I get points. You get more points, and everybody wins. Tim Burton, and this may be the last thing that I'm going to talk about today before I roll into the patron hangout, which I do every weekday. Tim Burton is set to direct a live-action Dumbo for Disney. Wow. That sounds like it's going to be awesome. I like Tim Burton. I can't say that I've seen any of his recent films necessarily. I've been all that impressed with the recent films that I saw. I'm a Nightmare Before Christmas fan. I like his eye. I like his style, generally speaking. He's not like one of those I must-see directors. I don't think I have any must-see directors. Honestly, I mean, they're hit and miss. But certainly if Tim Burton does something in conjunction with Disney, talking about Dumbo, it's probably going to be something that's going to get a lot of attention. I'm not a Dumbo fan necessarily. Well, I remember Crows singing, "I'll be something something when I see an elephant fly." I remember that, and I do believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, that Dumbo about an elephant. I think it was even in reference to planes used in either World War I or World War II. I want to say that. I think that was the model for it. I can't remember, but that's not just the time period. But I want to say that's that there's something about the history of one of the world wars in relation to Dumbo, the movie. And now I guess it's getting a reboot. Gotta push out that elephant memorabilia for the people who love collecting elephants. Me, not so much. This is an elephant. This giant AT-AT driver, dude. They spared no detail on this thing. Look at this. You got the pegs on the original Kenner figure there. You even have pegs, like holes for being placed on pegs, stand-up pegs. Wow. Like the sculpt was the same. Paint job's the same. Actually, the paint job's probably better than what I had originally. I feel like I've stepped into the world of Willy Wonka. Like you press a button and it miniaturizes. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I do appreciate it. As I said, I'm going to roll into the hangout now. I love you. I do appreciate you. But at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices.